Hello everybody and welcome to this short video podcast on the topic of writing your personal statement for UCAS applications. My name is Jamie McIntyre, I am the library manager, and over the next 20 minutes I'm going to talk to you about some of the things to do in your personal statement and some of the things to avoid in your personal statement. One of the things to remember when it comes to writing your personal statement is that at the other end of the process, there are people at the universities who sit down, maybe in groups of 2 or 3, and they go through each application and they read your personal statement. Now, in order to give you the best advice, I've spoken to 5 of those people whose job it is every year to sit down, go through your application, and they decide whether you're going to attend their university or not. So this is information from those people. And here's what they say. The time spent reading the personal statement varies from 1 to 10 minutes. As these people who are reading your personal statement get closer and closer to their deadline for finishing this task, they spend less and less time reading each individual statement thoroughly. And at worst, what they're saying is, at worst, you only have 1 minute to impress them. 1 minute. That means there's no room in your personal statement for waffling on about things that are irrelevant. It means you've got to impress them in the very first sentence. Capture their attention. Let's see what else they say. I look for students who are interesting to teach. So they're not just looking for people who are good at the subject, they're looking for people who are going to be engaged in the subject. Show them that you're interested. Show them that you will challenge them with difficult questions, that you'll think about the subject deeply, that you're into it. Another told me that the personal statement is sometimes it's the only way to tell those who are just good at a subject from those who are really interested. A good statement can make the difference for borderline cases. So normally, these people will have 3 piles in front of them. A yes pile for people they definitely want at their university, a no pile for people they definitely don't want at their university, and a maybe pile. If we have spaces left, we will take these people as well. And a good personal statement can move you from one pile to the other. So it can move you from a definite no right into a maybe. And it can move you from a maybe to a yes. So it is important and it does have a big effect on your chances of attending their university. Another told me, all I want to know is whether they have a burning desire to study the subject. They want to see that you are into this subject. Now, all too often what I see from people when they apply for university is it's almost like they're applying for a career. I really want to be a nurse. I really want to be a sports scientist. You're not applying for a career. Remember, you're applying for a course. You're applying to study something. That's what you're applying for. And one of the pieces of advice that people give out from universities is that one of the big put-offs when it comes to reading a personal statement is if the person who's reading it gets the sense that you don't know what's on the course. You have no idea of what's going to be covered by the course. You know that you want to be a business manager or a sports scientist somewhere down the line, but you haven't been bothered to check the prospectus and see what elements are covered on the course. Speaking of which, there is lots of advice on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and type in UCAS personal statements, you will find that there is lots of advice from UCAS on writing personal statements, but also in the last couple of years, more and more universities are putting advice onto YouTube as well about what they want to see from a good personal statement. So go and check that advice out as well as this short video. What you've got to demonstrate in a good personal statement is relevant academic ability. Can you deal with the coursework? Are you able to go away to the library or to your room and study on your own? They want to see your motivation for it. Are you really motivated to go to university to study this subject? They want to know your study skills. So they want to know, do you hand your essays in on time? Is your work to a high standard? Are you conscientious? They want to know about your relevant experience. But remember, the crucial word there is relevant. Don't talk to them about experiences that aren't relevant. Enthusiasm for the subject. Spark. What makes you different? And commitment. Remember, commitment. What you're applying for is to go and study a course at university. And that is a commitment. It doesn't pay well. It can be a challenging way of life because you have lots of things to hand in and big challenges to overcome. And what they want to see is this person able to deal with that commitment? Is this person able to deal with it? So you've got to demonstrate these things in sometimes just about 1 minute. So we better get this nailed on the head. As a rough guide, your personal statement should be roughly 75% telling them why you've chosen the course and what experiences you have that will help you do the course. Not just do the course, remember, that will help you survive life at university. University is a way of life, and they want to see what experiences you've got that will help you survive that. And the other 25% of your personal statement should be giving the supporting evidence relating to any transferable skills. So that's where you would talk about your hobbies, your pastime, any other work experience that you have, and how these experiences relate to life at university. You only get 4,000 characters to do this in, so it's not a lot. That's not 4,000 words, that's 4,000 characters, and that includes the spaces. So if you knock that up in a Word document, redraft it a few times, and then you transfer it into your personal statement box on your UCAS application. When it comes to talking about the subject and showing your enthusiasm for the subject, what you need to do is say, how and when did your interest in the subject develop? Where does that come from? Sometimes that can be quite a personal story, so it can be about being inspired by people in your life. It could be that you had great sports coaches when you were a youngster, and so you want to go into sports coaching. It could be that you saw real quality care at the BGH from the nursing staff, and that's what's inspired you to go into nursing. That's okay to mention these things. Personal stories are okay in that respect. No waffling though, and no gushing. Just tell them straight. What's your future goals within the profession? Your hobbies and interests and how they relate to the subject. Study skills, work experience, your college course. Pick certain bits out of your college course. I really enjoyed studying physiology and anatomy, and I see I see university as a chance to deepen my knowledge about physiology and anatomy. I really enjoyed the work placement part of the course, and I see that in the university, in the degree course, that there's an opportunity to go out on more work placement, and I'm really looking forward to that opportunity. And then how have you pursued this interest so far? Do you do any voluntary work? Do you do any paid work? What kind of things are you reading to develop your knowledge of the subject? It's good to mention these things. Now, there's lots of advice on the internet about what not to do in a personal statement, and here's the top 10 tips. The biggest thing that puts people off is bad spelling, bad punctuation, and bad grammar. Make sure that you redraft your personal statement several times. Get your pal to reread it. Get somebody you trust to look over it again and just iron out any of these spelling errors. Don't repeat yourself. I really want to be a nurse. Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. I really want to go into nursing. Paragraph 3. I really want to go into nursing. Paragraph 4. I really want to go into nursing. No. These people at the other end are clever people. You just have to tell them something once and they'll get it. Failure to demonstrate a passion for a chosen course. I once saw an application that started, "Every job I have had has been terrible, so I thought I would have a shot at university." Unbelievable. Instant no-pile stuff, and we had to revise it and make it into a much more positive statement. You've got to show a passion for the subject you're going to study. A lack of structure. And the only way to get rid of a lack of structure from your work is to redraft it several times. So be prepared that the first time you write your personal statement, that's not going to be it. You're going to have to redraft it and group together things that are of the same points. Don't start a point in paragraph 1 and only get round to finishing it in paragraph 2. If you've applied for Aberdeen, Napier, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and you mention a particular institution or course, it's not going to be a good thing in your personal statement. So, if you are applying to 5 universities and you say, I really want to study sculpture at Aberdeen University, then Glasgow, Napier, Queen Margaret and Edinburgh are all going to put you in the no-pile straight away because they know you don't really want to go there. Try and talk in general terms about going to university and the courses that you're doing, unless, of course, you've done one option. You've only gone for one choice. Bullet points are a great way to communicate, but don't use them in your personal statement. Part of this exercise is to show them that you can write in sentences and paragraphs, and it makes sense. So don't use bullet points. And please, please, please don't leave it to the last minute. Remember that as well as your bits and pieces that you need to do to apply to UCAS, you will need an academic reference. You should be speaking to your course tutor now about being that academic reference and ask them courteously. And I say that because this is an extra thing that lecturers do for you. There's no extra time built into their day for it, and they do it in what would be their spare time. So ask them courteously. Also, don't leave it to the last minute to do your bits and pieces, and then your course tutor has to do 18 references in the last week of term before Christmas. Nobody wants that. Everybody gets tired just before the Christmas holidays. Your lecturer will have a ton of marking to do, and so make sure you give them plenty of time to write you that awesome reference that you're going to need. So don't leave it to the last minute. The college would like to have all your bits and pieces submitted by the 1st of December. Okay, so when it comes to that 25% bit where you're talking about your hobbies, this is what an average personal statement would say. I enjoy playing badminton. Good, you have a hobby, you get out the house. That's good. But the people who are reading this personal statement will say, so what? You enjoy playing badminton. A really good personal statement would squeeze much more out of that statement and say, I play badminton twice a week with a club that plays in local competitions. Now, instantly, that means that you play twice a week, so you're dedicated, and you play in local competitions, so you've got that little competitive edge. That means you're not like me. You don't just turn up at badminton once a week and play tip-tap over the net. You actually have a competitive streak. That's great. That's what they're looking for. I play in both singles and doubles matches. Doubles matches requires good team working. Team working is an important skill at university. You will be in seminars, you will be doing group work, and team working means that you're able to speak to people and work with them and deal with other people, and that's part of life at university. An ability to support your partner, so you're a supportive person, that's another good skill. Devising a game plan, adaptability and flexibility, that's another really good word to get in there. I enjoy the social side of the club and take responsibility for organising the social activities and fundraising events. I've said before, university is not just about coursework, it's a whole university itself, and there is a very big social element. And it's people who are sociable and who are willing to take responsibility and organise events that make the life of a university. And so these people who are deciding whether or not you go to university are wanting to bring in people who are enthusiastic and who will be sociable. They'll join the clubs and societies and they will organise events because that means more life in the university. So mentioning anything like that is a real key for getting in. This gives me an opportunity to develop my organisational and planning skills. Absolutely, it's important that you mention organisation And of course, the last one there is fitting in all these activities while keeping up with my academic studies demands good time management. And I think I do that very well. Now, at university, you're given your assignments in week 1, week 2, and then you go away, you attend the lectures, and you're expected to just hand in your assignments. Nobody is there reminding you. Nobody is there to tell you when it's due. You've already had that information. You go do it. So can you manage your time well? Make sure you can mention that as well. Another one, an average personal statement would say, I spent 2 weeks working at a department store. I enjoyed speaking to customers and helping them with their inquiries. Okay. A really good statement would just tease that out a bit more. I spent 2 weeks managing customer inquiries at the department store. The experience highlighted the importance of positive communication between a business and its customers. And the really clever bit in this statement is that they've taken that 2 week work experience and they've linked it to their whole reason for going and doing a degree. I would like to develop this skill further by studying a degree in public relations. Fabulous. So they've taken that experience and they've linked it directly to what they want to do. Fab. Okay, so the main points that you should be including in a good personal statement are: paragraph 1, sentence 1. Why are you wanting to do this course? What are your reasons for choosing the course? I want to study nursing at degree level because. I want to study sports science at university because. What's your background to the interest in the subject? Again, that's maybe one of those personal stories. Make sure you mention that in the first paragraph. You want to talk about relevant employment, work experience and or placements. And squeeze as much out of that as you can, but relate them to the life at university. I worked in a bar for 3 years. Bar work required good time management, working under pressure, good communication skills and teamwork. All of these are good skills to have at university. Achievements. Have you got any achievements? Are you the Citizen of the Year? Were you a prefect? Were you on the faculty councils? Were you Student of the Year? Did you win an award at your sports club? What are your achievements to date? Make sure to mention them. Don't be shy about them. Obviously not cycling proficiency from primary 6. That's a way too far back in the dim and distant past. But more up-to-date achievements from, say, S5, S6 at secondary, or your time at college. You've got to mention your particular interest in your current area of study. What is that? Particular interest. So pick out something out of the course that you really love doing. I have really enjoyed the unit on anatomy and physiology. And I see that on the university course there's a chance to deepen my knowledge about this subject further. I've really enjoyed the work placement part of the course at college. And I see that on the university course there's a chance to do some more work experience with hands-on experience, and I'm really looking forward to that. So it's about picking out individual bits of your course that you know you'll be doing at university and mentioning those. What are your career aspirations? Now everybody, most people I would say, have a vision of themselves in about 5 or 10 years' time. Make that vision bright and clear in your mind. Where are you? Are you in an office? Are you in a classroom? Are you in a ward? Are you doing a particular job? What is that job? What does it look like? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? What clothes are you wearing? Make the image bright and clear, and then try and relate that image to the people who are reading your personal statement. What do you look like? And what you would say is something along the lines of that a degree in whatever the subject will help you achieve that vision. Have you got any industrial professional placements and sponsorships? And of course, the last 25%, talking about your social, sporting hobbies, interests, or pastime. But remember to relate that to life at university. I play badminton twice a week, and I organise the badminton competitions, and I'm really looking forward to joining the university badminton club. And I'll use this as a way of meeting people. I play guitar in my spare time, and I'd be really looking forward to joining the university orchestra or starting my own band with like-minded students at university. Do you see what I'm doing there? I'm taking my hobby, my pastime, my interest, and I'm making it something that will be good for me at university. Personal statements are really important, there's no doubt about it, and with increased competition for places at university, it's important to do your best with a personal statement. Now, once you've done 2 drafts, I would be happy to have a quick look at your personal statement. Now, I can't sit and read every personal statement, I just don't have time. However, I will look over it and check for grammatical, punctuation, and spelling errors. And I'll also check that you're doing the 75%, 25% guide. And I'll also be brutal with you and I will tell you if you are waffling. Because the one thing you don't have time for in a personal statement is waffle. So I will do that if you send me your second or third draft of your personal statement. And my email address is jmcintyre, MCINTYRE, at borderscollege.ac.uk. And give me a couple of days to look at it because usually at this time of year I get lots of personal statements to look at. Okay, for advice on filling out the bits and pieces of the form, that's done at the Student Advice Centre, and it's a lady there called Vivian Stavert, and she is the Higher Education Support Advisor. And Vivian's email address is there on the page, vstav, VSTAV, at borderscollege.ac.uk. And Vivian can offer support in how to find the buzzwords and how to fill in certain bits of the form. And for personal statement advice, you can come to me in the library. Okay, that's it for now. I hope that you've picked up something from that. And can I just take this chance to wish you all the very best of luck? Not that you'll need it coming from Borders College.